Everybody, today I want to do a little video called "The Murder of Sandra Simpson," and this is the obituary. You can find it online, and it's shown here. 33-year-old Sandra Simpson. She died on December 18, 2014. She was a proud mother of beautiful twins. Worked as a registered nurse at the Women's Health Clinic. This was a news broadcast. Actually, she was shot in her own home on December 15th, 2014, and that was a broadcast. I believe it was CBS 7 News that wrote that, where it was her husband that had shot her, and who was Chad Simpson, and I'm going to show you here in a minute that Chad Simpson was a Midland K9 police officer. Well, one of the police that was inside my home on January 29th, 2012, the day after I was shot and left for dead, ambushed and shot in my home, was seen wearing a Midland K9 Police Jacket. That's where that comes from. So I'm going to tell this story here, and how possibly that this murder of Sandra Simpson and then Chad actually committed suicide, or so that's the story goes. Is connected back to the crimes here. Okay, and so basically. Here on my Facebook, and part of the reason I did that, there's a new police report, and there's a video that I just did, and everybody ought to look. It's called here's Secret Police Surprise. Okay, a hidden police report. Basically, what happened is I found out that there was a police report that was withheld from me, and I just made a YouTube video on that. It's right here. This is go live. This is also on my YouTube, and it talks about this police report from the night of the shooting in my home on January 28th. That's when I was ambushed and shot with my phone lines cut. And so there was a police report there, where unknown for 6 years. I mean, I had to pay to get the secret police identified, and so. That's what I was showing here on this post here, is that the names found on the police report were this. Okay, and remember, this was withheld from me, this police report was. Okay, but the names that I paid for from Empire Private Investigation, which was 6 years later, had some of the names up there at the top, but not all of them. And one of them that isn't there, you'll see, was Chad Simpson. Okay, and Chad is the one alleged to have murdered his wife Sandra Simpson in 2014. Okay, so the police report from 1/28/12 that I just finally got after all these years, 7 years later, doesn't show Chad in my house. Okay, but my private investigator finds a witness, okay, that said Chad, he will testify that Chad told him, here's a picture of Chad and Sandra holding the babies, okay, that Chad told him he was in my house, okay, and so my private investigator is a witness, but keep in mind that Chad is not listed on the police report that I just finally got, as withheld from me, and I want to show you one more picture. This is time-stamped course here on January 29th. I was in surgery at the time, and because I didn't have a police report, all I had was my pictures, and this was one of the pictures. There was a Midland K9 police officer that I knew was in my house, and it was suspected that it was Chad. Okay, I'm going to show you. Here's Chad, and interestingly, it shows he died on December 15th because he killed himself supposedly, and then he was born in my hometown of Hobbs, New Mexico. He was a K9 police officer. Okay, so I got a K9 police officer in my house, and I got a private investigator saying Chad was in my house. Okay, and so I want to go through that and show you what was going on here. This is kind of important. Okay, here I'm gonna close this, and what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna show you how to surf timelines. Okay, here this is. I don't mean to jump around. I'm trying to hold the camera and do this video. But, okay, I'm going to scroll down, and you see that bar pop up right there. Okay, so I'm going to change this to 2014. Okay, and that's the month of the murder-suicide. I'm going to change that to December. Okay, this is how you surf timelines. Okay, and so there's December 31st, 2014. This is my timeline, or my wall on Facebook. Okay, so I got to scroll down, and this is going to take a second, because I'm scrolling down to December 13th, which is in the middle of the month, so I got to get rid of all the post that, from that was above it. So you can go surf my timeline doing this. Okay, go back in the past and see what I was posting. Okay, it's a historical record. Okay, that's December 20th. We're still backing up. Okay, what do we got there? December 18th. Okay, and just a second, because this is important. Okay, you can do this on your own computer. Okay, what I'm showing you here, you can surf my timeline. Okay, and here it is. On December 13th, 2 days before the murder-suicide, I posted a story called Rape and Murder. Okay, and that's the story about the young girl being murdered at the oil show party that I believe it happened in an underground facility near my home. Okay, along with that story on December 13th was this picture of the Midland K9 Police Officer in my home. So here I'm posting this story, and part of this story is I got a call from a police officer in 2010 that threatened to arrest me if I talked to the witness again, the one that told me about the girl being murdered at the oil show party. And I posted this picture. Okay, so that was on December 13th, 2014 when I posted this rape and murder story. Okay, now let's go to the internet. This is Google. Okay, and I'm going to search for Midland, Texas, Simpson murder-suicide. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to back up, and you're going to see here's all the things about the Midland police officer. And I want you to look at the dates there. Okay, December 15th, police officer involved in murder-suicide. So 2 days after I posted the rape and murder story about that young girl being murdered at that oil show party, and that picture of the guy in the Midland K9 Police Jacket, Chad Simpson murders his wife, Sandra Simpson, and then kills himself. Okay, and so and you can go in here and you can do this yourself, because this is on Google. This is all posted in the public. You can see the date it was posted and read up all about it. How a Midland K9 police officer murdered this policeman's wife. But keep in mind, it was 2 days after I posted that story onto my Facebook called Rape and Murder, and so I believe that's connection is back. Now here's where it really gets interesting. The day before, okay, the murder of the murder-suicide, okay, on December 14th, okay, 2014, I wrote the governor of Texas, who was Rick Perry at the time. He's now Secretary of Energy for Trump, and the Attorney General, who is Greg Abbott, who's now governor of Texas. And I told them about this rape and murder story. Okay, it's about the rape and murder of the little girl, and so I told them about that the day before the murder-suicide. And so a lot of people don't know that. I mean, you'd think the press would go, oh, well, that's big news. That's something the public would want to know, is that the governor and that knew about, this story of this oil show party. And these oil show parties are famous, right? And so just last night I did a condensed version of the rape about that girl being murdered, because that go live is about an hour long. It's really important. And you ought to listen to it, the whole thing. It takes about an hour. But I also have this one, okay? And what I did was I just cut out 10 minutes of the talking about just the little girl itself. And when you listen to it, and I'm giving you the details, I'm telling you, I'm giving you the phone numbers, going, check this. I know this happened. She told me it happened. That girl did get murdered. Got multiple people saying there's underground facility tunnels here. She would leave my house in 5 minutes. She'd be there. Just double check the phone records. You can find out this is true. They murdered that girl, okay? And I believe they did it in this underground facility. And that might come back to the murder of Sandra Simpson. And so there's the rest of the story.